People all over the country open up their hearts and their wallets in the days after Hurricane Katrina 1 year ago. Tonight, in part 5 of her series, Katrina 1 Year Later, News Channel 3 anchor Melanie Hebert tells us desert residents reached out to help, but your donations, as it turns out, might not have gone where you thought. Melanie.
John, a year ago, Palm Desert resident Charles Porter held a grassroots donation drive for Hurricane Katrina victims. News Channel 3 was there as desert residents steadily brought donations for 12 hours to an Albertsons parking lot. Porter sent 4 18-wheelers to the Gulf Coast and didn't stop there. But when he teamed up with a local business, he says things started to go bad. Charles Porter says desert residents were misled when they donated to the Marriott at Shadow Ridge, where up to 65 families evacuating from Hurricane Katrina were expected to arrive. Porter offered to help the Marriott organize and distribute the donations and waited for about 3 weeks for evacuees.
Every day it was my understanding that the families were coming. I mean, they kept telling me that. That's why I was there.
Then, Porter says about $2,500 worth of new toiletries were stolen from the Marriott, in addition to several $100s in cash donations. He believes Marriott employees broke into the room overnight and complained that Marriott officials didn't acknowledge the disappearance.
They weren't receptive to me reporting anything like that. I think they just wanted me to go in that room and stay in that room, and we were told not to let ourselves be known to their guests.
Porter filed 2 separate police reports on the allegedly stolen goods, and he believes that's why the Marriott asked him to leave and to take the donations with him. The Marriott claims Porter was asked well in advance to leave for resort renovations, but Porter says the resort was going to throw the extra donations away if he didn't take them, and complains he didn't have enough time to get them to hurricane victims.
I tried every avenue that afternoon to do what I could, and by Monday morning there was just no hope to get that done.
So where did your donations to the Marriott go?
I had to call the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission and say, look guys, I have all this stuff here. Can you use it? If you can use it, I need to get it out of here right away.
The Marriott has refused to comment on camera several times, but behind closed doors, General Manager John Daw insisted that all of the donations to the Marriott did go to Katrina victims. When we told him Porter's story, he said the resort had collected much more than expected, so the Marriott donated to the Red Cross with the extra goods. But when we told him the Red Cross only accepts monetary donations, his response was simply, "We liquidated them." Daw says his staff sold the donations to people around the area who needed them, employees and area residents. When we asked him if he thought it was wrong to have a garage sale with residents' hurricane donations, Daw said, "I'm not going to get into this controversy. It's going to taint the effort that was made by a lot of good people." He had no comment about the allegedly stolen donations and maintains that 90% of the donations did go to hurricane victims and not to the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission.
The Marriott maintains that 90% of the donations from Coachella Valley residents did go to Hurricane Katrina victims.
That is absolutely incorrect. That's not true. 90% of it didn't go.
90%.
Absolutely equivocally, that is a falsehood.
So we checked with the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission.
We picked up all of the donations that were housed at the Marriott as per Charles Porter, as per his direction, and dispersed those items from the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. There was rooms full of clothing and furnishings and household goods.
And although Porter says the donations did go to a good cause, he wants to apologize to desert residents who thought they were donating to Katrina victims.
I want them to know that I'm sorry, that it was out of my hands. You know, they can blame me if they want, but it's better that it went somewhere where it could be used than being thrown away, and that's exactly what would have happened to it.
Now, if you donated to another organization for Katrina victims and are now wondering how well your donations were used, we found a great website tool that can help you to read detailed evaluations of each charity's response to Hurricane Katrina. You can find a link on our website at kesq.com.